But I woke up during the night and I've looked down at my desk and there was just a man sitting there, full-bodied, just sort of looking up in my direction, just sitting there. And I was terrified. I've screamed for my mum. I was beside myself. I would just remember the fear was unreal. There was just a man sitting there at my desk. And he looked like, I always describe him as he looked like William Shakespeare. He looked like William Shakespeare.
What is happening and what is up? Hold out your glass, because we're about to fill it up.
All things continually lead back to serpents, dragons, fairies, Nephilim, and fallen angels.
In the distance looms a mystical mountain.
As Mike Heiser used to say, if it's in the Bible and it's weird, it's probably important.
At its peak, a great fire burns, concealing the Prometheus lens.
This development of this knowledge that's being talked about within the mystery schools.
An ancient artifact said to reveal the hidden truth within a deliberately darkened world.
There's a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world.
Join us as we travel and explore the vast unknown. It's a hero's journey with dragons to slay, damsels to save, and innumerable treasures to hoard. Torches high.
The Smithsonian, they caught wind of a giant skeleton. They would send their agents out to get it.
But it takes courage to move forward, to move out of the shadows, out of the unreality that we think of as reality.
We are all on the hero's journey.
Mankind has been in contact with and influenced by extraterrestrials.
Leave the sentient mound of bull feathers out of it.
Look at it from a different perspective.
What is happening and what is up? Hold out your glass, because we're about to fill it up. Welcome to the Prometheus Lens podcast, the place where the conversations are always enlightening. I'm your host, Justin, and here we like to use the allegory of the Prometheus Lens to take a second look at everything. Guys, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We got our socials coming down below. Be sure and check those out. Share us with your friends and family and help us to grow the show and reach more listeners. I greatly appreciate it. And today I have an episode with another fellow podcaster. I actually went on his show here recently and we got to talking, and he's had a lot of just supernatural experiences in his life, and he mentioned it on the show. But he is the host of Let's Get Freaky podcast. His name is Tommy Cullum. So I'd like to welcome Tommy to the show. Tommy, thank you for sitting down and taking the time, brother.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited to be here, man. I'm a big fan of your show. So this is an honor for me. Thank you for having me.
Now, the honor's mine, man. I love sitting down and meeting people and having these conversations. And I've said it many times, podcasters that just love to talk and love having these conversations and will do it even if nobody is watching. It's a can't lose situation.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. You've got to enjoy it. I think that's very important. Yeah, I couldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. And luckily I love talking. So.
Yeah, I came out of the womb talking, man.
Yeah. Mom's like, shut up.
Yeah. Looking at the doctor. What'd you smack me for, you jerk? Well, Tommy, just introduce yourself to the listeners. Give us a little background, how you got into podcasting. And, of course, we have to ask, how did you come up with the name? Let's Get Freaky.
Yeah,
I know. Automatically, where my mind goes, straight to the gutter.
Yeah, for sure. And when I first started doing the show, I used to get a lot of, I'll say, unwanted attention, because I think a lot of people got that idea as well, that it was a bit of a, I don't know. But I don't know, the name came pretty, it just felt right. Let's Get Freaky. I talk about paranormal, supernatural, conspiracies and all the freaky stuff. And that just felt like the right name. Didn't think about the other side of freakiness and what that can invite, but it's too late now. It's done. And
just go with it.
That's it. So we talk all paranormal, supernatural, cryptids. I love it all, man.
Yeah, it sounds like we're in the same vein. So, how long have you been doing this, and where are you from? Because I mean, you sound a little different.
Yeah, I'm from London. Well, Essex, which is right next to London in the UK. I live in Dorset now, so about 2 hours from London. So this is the accent. I've been doing the podcast now for coming up to 2 years. 2 years at the end of June, and I love it, man. It's like you said, you meet the best people, you meet the most amazing people. You talk about the topics that you want to talk about, that interest you. And yeah, I can't imagine not doing the podcast now. It's so difficult. It's like a full-time job, as you know. It takes up most of your time, but I love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it has to be a labor of love or it turns into a second job. And that's why a lot of people burn out.
Yeah. I didn't realize, I'd listened to podcasts before I started podcasting and, and podcasters would say how difficult it is. And I imagined it was difficult, but man, it's a lot of hours. And there's so much to it. You're self-promoting yourself. You're getting your own guests. I'd like to get to the stage where I can get a booker and stuff like that and they can deal with all that stuff, but I'm not near there yet. So I'm doing everything like yourself probably. And it is like a second job, but it is fun.
Definitely. Well, I know when we talked on your show, you had mentioned just all the different supernatural experiences and stuff that you had, even just stemming from a child. And you pulled yourself back several times, and you was like, "I'll save it." So I've been stirring the past week to hear some of these stories, man. Go ahead and just kick us off. Tell us about some of your experiences.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was always one of those kids I've always been a bit scared of the dark. I've always felt like there's something there. I was always one of those kids that got in bed with my mum and dad during the night because I was scared. I've always been like that. And we actually grew up in a haunted house. So I had reason. It was, the stereotypical, things would go missing. You would hear strange noises for the night. And we all felt it. We all knew that there's something wasn't right in the house that we was in. And it wasn't until we left the house that my dad and my mum were like, yeah, there was something not right about that house. We never talked about it while we was there. I had experiences there, and me and my brother both experienced stuff there, but we never really, as a family, talked about it because I think because we were living there, we didn't want to acknowledge it. But it was happening, and it was happening regularly. There was always weird noises, as I said, things going missing, a feeling that you was being watched. It was always like that. When I got to I was around 10 years old, me and my brother shared a room, and we had bunk beds. And we had just a normal boys' room. We had a desk in our room. We had the bunk beds. And I remember waking up one night, and it was during the night, but you could see light coming through the bedroom window. So you could pretty much see the layout of the room. I never used to like it pitch black because I was always too scared when I was a kid. Still am now, to be honest. But I woke up during the night, and I've looked down at my desk, and there was just a man sitting there, full-bodied, just sort of looking up in my direction, just sitting there. And I was terrified. I've screamed for my mum. I was beside myself. I would just remember the fear was unreal. There was just a man sitting there at my desk. And he looked like, I always describe him as he looked like William Shakespeare. That was the look. He looked like he was from that era. He had the long brown hair. He had like a little beard. He was wearing this like brown suit with these brown boots. I could see him very clearly. Like he was just there, solid form.
Full color, huh?
Full color, yeah. My mum's come in the room, and I'm saying, "Mum, there's a man." And she's trying to calm me down because she can't see him. But I'm hysterical and she's calming me down. And I remember her going up to the desk, and I can't remember if she's gone through him, but she was like looking around, and I just remember she coming back saying, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Calm down. But I was terrified. But because of the kid that I was always getting up during the night. I was always saying to my mum and dad, I'm scared. Can I get in bed with you guys? As a 10-year-old, I guess my mum and dad were like, no, this has got to stop. So I remember my mum getting quite angry with me and saying, no, you're staying in your room. There's nothing there. And I was terrified. I'd just gone under the covers, and I just remember sweating because I was so scared. And every now and again, I would just look every now and again, and this guy was still there. He was there the whole time. Somehow I'd fallen asleep that night. I woke up the next morning. He was gone. But I was terrified, you know, from that. I was scared before, but I was really scared now. You know, I'd seen this guy, and for me, that was the moment that I knew that there was a lot more to this world, you know, because what I saw there I wasn't dreaming, you know, it wasn't a dream. It was very real. It lasted for a long time. Like, it was the whole night. And from that moment on, I knew that there was more, man. And that was a terrifying experience.
So it was just the one night that
that's the only time I saw him, that man. Yeah, I did see other things in that house, but that was the only time that I saw that particular man, and that I saw something for that long. And it was just like, if I had seen that man in the street sitting on a park bench, I wouldn't say that was a ghost. You know, that it was just solid. It was just like a man was in my room. It wasn't, you know, wasn't see-through, you know, he wasn't faded. He was just a solid man there. And it was terrifying.
That's what's wild, is because how everybody's is so different, but the majority of people talk about a silhouette or just seeing a dark, shadowy figure. I had, you might be familiar with him, but Terry Carter, he's got a YouTube channel called the Treasure Hunter. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about Brewer's Cave. And we ended up talking about a ghost encounter that he had. And his story was like yours. And I honestly, you two are the only ones so far that I've talked to that seen in full color, just like they were right in front of you. Really? And he said that he had went to a museum, and a guy that worked at the museum just walked up to him and started talking. They started talking about Brewer's Cave and treasure hunting and, you know, all this kind of stuff. They shared the same interests. And he said, I just had this long conversation with him. He said, then a few months later, somebody I knew mentioned a story about him and a friend going to some cave. And he's like, oh yeah, I met your friend you're talking about at such and such museum just a few months ago. You know, he was like, no, you didn't see him. He's been dead for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And he said, Justin, it was just like I'm talking to you now. He said, but in person. He said, and I'm like, nah, this guy's made a mistake. He just thinks he's dead. He's alive. He said, so I went back to the museum and said, hey, you know, Jim Hatt, that was his name. He said, I need to talk to Jim Hatt. And they're like, we don't know about anybody by that name. And they kept asking around and found out that he was one of the founders of the museum and that he had, in fact, been dead for over 10 years.
Wow, man, that's wild.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it is rare to hear people that see a full-bodied apparition, whatever it is. It is very rare to hear that. It is normally see-through or shadow figure. But I've talked to people that have seen, you know, they describe it as just seeing someone there, you know, solid form. But it does seem to be rarer.
Mm-hmm. What about the house? I know you said it was haunted. Was this like a really old house? Did it have some history to it, or did you ever find out?
I'd love to go back and talk to the people that live there now to see if stuff is still going on. That's something I might do, actually. But it wasn't a super old house. It wasn't. It was. If I was guessing, it was like 30 years old at the time that we moved in. It wasn't a super old area, quite new house, but literally half a mile or so away from the house was a massive graveyard. So I don't know if it was anything to do with that. Could something have wandered in? I don't know. Also, the lady that we bought the house off of, her husband died in the house, we think. It was never definite, but my dad thinks that he died in the house. And apparently he was a doctor, and his office was below our bedroom. But the guy that I saw in our room was, he looked like William Shakespeare. That's how I've always described him. That's what I've always called him, William Shakespeare. It wasn't William Shakespeare, I don't think. But that was the look that he had. When I see pictures of William Shakespeare, I'm like, that looks like the guy that I saw. Yeah. He wasn't holding a skull though, but yeah. But from that
at 10 years
moment,
old, I mean, that would be a very, very traumatic experience.
Oh man, yeah. It's what, because I can still see him perfectly now, how he was. And it's terrifying to see something like that at that age. I saw it now that, it's terrifying. My brother also saw in the same room. So that night that I woke up and I was hysterical, my brother on the bottom bunk never woke up, which is quite strange, really, because I was being loud but he's quite a good sleeper, my brother, so that's probably why. But he woke up one night in the same room, and he saw his experience in that room was he saw two red eyes. And he said he's woke up, he's seen these two red eyes just floating and started coming towards him and then just faded. That was his experience in the room, which is a scary one as well. And he's a little bit younger than me, so he would have been, I don't know, at the time, 6 or 7. So that was quite a big moment for him as well.
Yeah,
so, man, there was a lot
just
of
besides that, you said there was just a lot of like poltergeist activity. You said noises and things missing, and
just a feeling of being watched, and not a nice feeling. I was in my mum and dad's bedroom one day as well, and they had mirrors in their room. I just remember I was just mucking around in my mum and dad's bedroom, and I think this was after I'd had the experience seeing the man in my room. But I was mucking around. I can't remember what I was doing really, but a naked blonde lady walked past me. Again, it was full-bodied. It was just walked past me, a naked blonde lady, and walked into my mum and dad's ensuite in their bedroom. Now, I just thought it was my mum because my mum's blonde and she would walk around naked sometimes. So it wasn't unusual for my mum to walk around the house naked. So I was like, saw this lady walk past me, and I'm just like, Mum, talking to her, walked into the bathroom, and there was no one there. And I was like, I just remember just being very confused. I've just seen my mum walk past me, definitely. I've run downstairs, I'm like, Mum, I just saw you walk past me in the bedroom. No, my mum was there, fully clothed. It wasn't her. But I definitely saw a naked blonde lady walk past me. And that was another time that I saw something in that house. And that was a solid form as well. That was weird, man. That was another weird one. I just remember.
Was this like around the same time? You're still around 10?
Yeah, I think around that age, because we left that house when I was 12. So it wasn't too long after that experience that we left. And I always remember because we moved out of. So I've always was scared of the dark. And I still am, to be honest. I'm not ashamed to admit it, because of the things I've experienced and still experience. I do get scared in the dark. Like if I'm in a hotel on my own, if the wife's not there, I will have the TV on. I can't be in the pitch black on my own. I know that sounds a bit pathetic for a man, but that's just, I can't help it. I still get scared now. And I remember the first night leaving that house. So I was 12 years old. We moved to another house, and I got my own room in this house. And I remember being in this new room, and, obviously it was all new, so it was a bit weird anyway. But I remember laying in bed that night with the lights off, which was quite weird. And I remember being like, I don't feel scared. Like for the first time, I'm in my room. I'm in a new room. I should be scared. And I remember I didn't have any curtains in the room, so it was still quite light coming in. But I just remember feeling comfortable for like the first time in a new room. And I thought that was weird.
Are you a hunter or hiker or prepper, or just someone who enjoys the great outdoors? Whichever case that may be, Squatch Survival Gear has you covered. Not only is this a veteran-owned company, all of the products are 100% made in America, baby. All the way down to the fabric and every stitch. So whether it's a day hike, a weekend getaway, or the ultimate bug out bag, head on over to squatchsurvivalgear.com and use the code PLP10 for 10% off store-wide.
Hi, my name is Mike, and I'm in beautiful downtown Boise, Idaho. I'm doing a morning walk and taking you with me as I try to explain why I became a member of the Prometheus Lens exclusive membership area. I mean, I am so blessed to be able to listen to some of the awesome presenters and speakers and content that Justin is providing in the Prometheus Lens podcast. It's incredible. I mean, these are top-notch guys with really, really interesting and well-researched ideas. And, you know, honestly, as we live in what I like to call the world of the grand conspiracy, we all need this information. We need to know what to do with it. We're all having to deal with the impact of what this grand conspiracy has done to our world. And so, as you start to figure this stuff out, that these things are actually going on, that they're actually real, it changes. It changes your perspective, and you want that information to better equip yourself and your family and your friends. So, for less than the cost of 2 Whoppers from Burger King a month, you can join the Prometheus Lens exclusive membership on Supercast. And you can have access to all the exclusive content, plus get early release on the regular podcast. And you'll enjoy it, and you'll be blessed. And then you can share that information with others. And by doing so, you're helping Justin produce these time-consuming and financially costly productions. And he's doing an awesome job. And you know what I like probably more than anything? Is Justin is just a normal guy. You can tell he's genuine. He's doing it because he feels called to it. He has a passion for it. And something about that drive encourages me to just throw a few bucks his way. If he was here, maybe I'd just buy him coffees once in a while. But he's a good guy. So Justin, keep it up. Thank you for what you're doing. Everybody else, it's time to pony up, man. Put a few bucks in the can. Buy a guy a couple Whoppers. And have a blessed day. Torches high!
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that preview and want to watch or listen to the rest of that episode, head on over to PrometheusLensPodcast.com and sign up for the All Access Pass. For $10 a month, you can help sponsor the show and gain access to a library of shows just like this one that's exclusive to those who help sponsor the show. You also get 48-hour early access to all future episodes, access to a private community, and monthly members chats and Q&As with authors and speakers that's been on the show. We also offer a $5 a month package that gets you everything that the All Access Pass gives except for the exclusive episodes. If you enjoy the content, help us keep the lights on. This is your way of sponsoring the show and be like so many others that have come and joined me on the hero's journey.